there. For this video, we will solve and summarize about some case. And the case that we will solve is HSBC Holdings is one of the biggest banks in Europe, and they are not exception to the money laundering. In 2012, HSBC paid a fine totaling $1.9 billion because it failed to prevent drug cartels from using the bank to launder nearly $1 billion. This case is about HSBC Holdings, was fined $1.9 billion in 2012 for failing to prevent drug cartels from using the bank to launder nearly $1 billion. The bank's weak regulations made them the primary conduct for drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia. As part of the agreement, the bank will forfeit a $1.256 billion, retain the compliance monitor, and pay $665 million in civil penalties to regulators, including the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury Department. The case highlights HSBC's failure to maintain an effective program against money laundering and conduct basic due diligence on some account holders. Let's continue with the key issues. The key issue in this case study is, first, HSBC's failure to prevent the problem. They are failed to prevent the drug cartels from using the bank to launder the money. Secondly, weak regulations to monitor systems. The bank's weak regulations and inadequate monitoring systems allowed the cartels to launder almost $881 million through HSBC and a Mexican unit. Next, the bank also violates sanction laws by doing business with customers in Iran, Libya, Sudan, Burma, and Cuba. Last but not least, the bank's compliance department was understaffed, and employees ignored internal warning about the inadequate monitoring system. Next, analysis and evaluation. First, HSBC compliance and anti-money laundering, which is the case study highlighted several issues with HSBC compliance and anti-money laundering controls. Secondly, put the country in its lowest risk. Despite the known risk of doing business in Mexico, the bank put the country in its lowest risk category, which excluded $670 billion in transactions from the monitoring systems. Third, not alert with identify suspicious wire transactions. It is because the bank's compliance department was understaffed, with only 1 to 4 employees responsible for reviewing alerts identifying suspicious wire transactions. When HSBC processed bulk cash, only 1 or 2 compliance officials oversaw the transactions for 500 to 600 customers only. Next, bank charge of violating activities. The case study also highlights HSBC's violation of sanction laws by doing business with customers in Iran, Libya, Sudan, Burma, and Cuba. Settlement costs are trivial. The bank's poor regulations and inadequate monitoring system made them the primary conduct for drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia. Last but not least, bank officials repeatedly ignored internal warning that HSBC's monitoring system were inadequate, has increased spending on anti-money laundering. The best recommendations to prevent such of these incidents to happen in the future: first, increase spending on money laundering systems. HSBC companies should increase more spending on anti-money laundering systems and hire more compliance officials to review the alerts and identifying the suspicious transactions. Second, conduct more training for staff. The bank should also conduct regular training for employees to enhance their awareness of money laundering risk and improve their ability to detect and report the suspicious activities. In addition, the bank should ensure that it complies with sanction law and implement effective due diligence procedure to prevent doing business with sanctioned entities or individuals. Finally, the bank should establish an independent oversight mechanism to ensure that its anti-money laundering and compliance control are effective and meet regulatory requirements. Last but not least, the banker relationship for money laundering in this HSBC case study. Yes, there was exist a banker-customer relationship in this case between HSBC Holdings and the drug cartels who used the bank to launder their money. But
Due to the illegal activities and the source of the money, their relationship are clearly failed and wrong.